We have been working on this cab on and off, and on the box on and off, a lot of metal work and body work here for quite a while. I'm going to take a little break and do something just a little bit different, just something a little bit more interesting to me. I want to put my instrument panel together so that I can put it back in that opening. These are the parts and pieces that came out of my truck on my instrument panel. The speedometer, no needle. I don't think it works. Ammeter and fuel meter, they do work. I tested those, but I had a couple of aftermarket gauges for oil and temp. So I don't want to put a lot of money into this, so I'm going to try something a little different. These are my replacement gauges. I've got a speedometer, and then I've got another gauge that's got fuel, charge, oil, and temp all in one. Now the speedo, you'll notice, only goes up to 80, and that's fine because this only goes up to 80, and I think my truck will go up to about 50 on a good day. So my goal here, though, is to be able to put these in, but not take the truck to the point where it couldn't be changed back to something that's more original. So what I'm doing here is I've got these laid out. I'm going to just put this bezel on because I'm going to reuse the bezel. But it looks like they're going to fit in there really nicely. So here's the parts that I want to use. I took the mounting plate and I just emptied out the inside. I cut all the way around here so that it was open, but this mounts in behind the dash. And then I made just a metal plate here. Let's see this. That's going to go over the top. I'll cut holes in here for each of the gauges, and the bezel goes on top, and that whole unit then bolts into the dash. No holes need to be cut in the dash to do this. Now this is a GPS speedometer, and I wanted to test it out before I go too much further. So here's what I've done. I just wired it into a cigarette lighter power adapter so I can get 12 volts to it. And then this piece is the receiver. So this has to go somewhere visible. It's going to go up on the dash. But what I'm going to do is just put these into my truck right now and drive around and see how it works. All right, here it is. I just set it up on my dash. I've got my receiver right there. And I plug this into the cigarette lighter. And I want you to watch this little display down here. Normally this is the odometer, but it's also going to give us the GPS status. Oh, yes. Let's see. Maybe we need to turn the truck on. There we go. Okay, it's looking for the GPS right now. So this will take just a minute. I've already done this one time. Now the thing I noticed is after it got a lock, I shut it off for a little bit, turned it back on, and it instantly got a lock. So it's been off for about 24 hours now. So I don't know if it's got a short memory that can just kind of hang on to that information or just how it really behaves. But yeah, this is taking a while. We'll come back and I'll let you know how long it took. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we are up and running. Let's take a drive. All right, so we're only going to run this test for a short distance down the road here, just to be safe. But let's see how this thing behaves. Now I'm comparing it to my other speedometer down here at about 10 miles an hour, and we are right on with this one. Actually, it looks pretty smooth. I think it's gonna work. It's reading just under 20. We're just under 20 here. So I like the accuracy. Now let's see how long it takes to drop to 0 when we stop. A little longer than a regular speedometer, but that's not bad at all. All right, I'm going to call that a pass. First thing I want to do is figure out where my gauges are going to go on this plate. So I'm going to begin by finding center, and I'll do that. There's a real simple way to do this. What you want to do, just to make it easy, is run at a diagonal from edge to edge. And I've got mine here, and I'm setting it at the 10-inch mark. So I know 5 inches is going to be center here. So now, even though this is not 10 inches, I know that I've got a little bit over 4 3/4. When I look at it this way, 4 3/4. So I know I'm centered this way. And then up and down, we'll do the same thing. We'll find center here. I'm going to go to 6 inches on this one, right there. And I know vertically, right there at 3 inches, that's my center. Now I can just make a cross and I've got the center of my plate, and I can work off of that. I think I got it where I want it now. I've got 3/4 of an inch here, 3/4 in the middle, and 3/4 on this side. We're centered this way. So I got my holes, so I'm just going to cut these out now, and we'll move on. All right, holes are cut. Let's do a quick test fit. These are pretty easy to install. All right, speedometer. All right. These look closer together than I had anticipated, but let's throw the bezel on and see if it looks any different. Yeah, I had really wanted this gap, and this gap to all be the same, but that's all right, I guess. All right. Good. Now I want to get some paint on this bezel. So let's give that a shot now. All right, I've got this plate done, and I put a coat of hammer finish paint on it. Here's what I bought. Colors don't match. It's weird, but it's still good. I can live with that. So let's throw these gauges in and see how this thing looks. We'll get the speedometer on this side. And we'll get our other gauge cluster in here. All right. Okay, now get the bezel and the backer. There we go. Let's just test it in the dash and see how it looks. All right, there they are. I think they look great. They fit nice. That's the original bezel. So I think that's what we're going with. I'll hang on to the other parts. I can always go back to it, but this is what we're sticking with for now. I'd like to thank you for joining me. If you'd like to see how we got to this point, you can scroll down into the comments and there's a link to a playlist for all of the videos on this project going back to the day I first brought it home. If you'd like to see progress going forward, you might want to hit that subscribe button, and hopefully my videos will pop up as I release them. Again, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.